You're listening to WDBFradio.com, a tune-in station.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high-quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
Hi folks, I'm Roger from Rogers Gotcha Motoring. If you need a local auto repair shop, Rogers Gotcha Motoring will take care of all of your automotive repair needs. If you need something as simple as an oil change or as complex as an engine overhaul, I have the latest in technology and the knowledge to get the job done right. We've been servicing Pinellas County since 1994 and are conveniently located at 3700 5th Avenue North in St. Petersburg, Florida. If you need service, call now at 727-327-1830 or visit my website at www.rogersgotchamotoring.com or like my Facebook page at Rogers Gotcha Motoring for a complete list of all of our services. So come on over to Rogers, that's me, and get your car service today. And don't forget to shop and support local business. Call now to book your appointment at 727-327-1830. That's 727-327-1830, or swing on by.
Que Pasa Mexican Cantina is where friends and neighbors come to connect, share, and celebrate one another in a festive, casual atmosphere. Offering rich, robust flavors of authentic Mexican cuisine, we use only the freshest, finest ingredients. We chop and dice, season and blend, and then cook everything we serve to perfection. One thing that makes Mexican food even better is one of our delicious Best of the Bay margaritas. Our signature series of margarita flavors range from our sweet and fruity mango and strawberry to our hot and juicy jalapeno margarita. Having a busy meeting or getting together and looking for Mexican food? Try our Fast Fax form. It's an easy, fast way to order your favorite Mexican food. We have special platters and layouts for any occasion. The form is super easy to fill out, fax, email, or just call it in. Whether it's here in the restaurant, in your home or office, at Que Pasa we celebrate bringing people together. Que Pasa Mexican Cantina, 10478 Roosevelt Boulevard North Street in the Gateway Shopping Center, 727-330-3663 in St. Petersburg.
Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Hey, this is Captain Hook for Statewide Pest Control Services. They've been serving the west coast of Florida since 1987. Statewide does it all. Pest control, termites, lawns, mosquitoes, tent fumigations, etc. This announcement is from their mold division. Since Hurricane Charlie in 2004, all their personnel are certified in mold and moisture control. Their two-step services are guaranteed to get you back in your home quicker and in most cases paid by your insurance company. Give them a call at 877-488-7378. That's Statewide Pest Control Services for all your pest and mold control needs, serving Florida from Pasco to Lee counties. Statewide Pest Control Services, 877-488-7378. 877-488-7378. That's 877-488-7378. You're listening to WDBFradio.com, a tune-in station.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing in Florida when the sun shines all day.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. on the WDBF Radio Network. And now, your host, Riscala Stevens.
Hello and welcome everyone. It is the Fish Florida Show. I am your host Rascala, and I'm my sidekick here, Devin Canhigh, and it's kind of a cloudy morning this morning. Good morning, Devin.
Good morning. Good morning. They call us the Sunshine State, and we are covered in clouds right now.
Looking a little bit dark to the west of us, looking a little bit dark to the east of us. Looks like we have a front moving through.
Yeah, but it's okay. It keeps the heat away and keeps the light jackets on. And for these Florida people, I woke up this morning. I think I looked at the temperature a few minutes ago. We were only at about 60 degrees.
Yeah, a little over 60 degrees. I was kind of shocked Devin shows up this morning. Devin is the kind of guy who would be 58 degrees outside. He'll show up in shorts and a short sleeve shirt. And he pulls up this morning. He's got a jacket on. I'm going, wait a minute. I don't think it's snowing outside, but that's about what it would take for him to put a jacket on. So good morning, everybody. Thank you for taking the time to listen in. It is the Fish Florida Show. We have a complete lineup for you today, a wide variety of information, and hopefully it's going to help you enjoy your outdoors, as Devin likes to say, which I enjoy so much, bringing the outdoors to you. What's the latest going on today?
Latest going on today? Well, last week was the official start of the Kingfish season. They had the Key West tournament, the Meat Mayhem. It was a really good turnout. They had some really, really nice sized fish caught during that. When you have a 50-pound fish flat and you don't even place in the top 3, it was a good tournament.
Wow. That is. I got a text from one of my kids, Friday, and this particular one, he doesn't really text me very often. And I thought, oh my goodness, something's going on, something's wrong. And I open up the text and there's a picture of him, and he's got a 65-pound sailfish next to him. And I call him up. I go, I thought you were supposed to be working. This is Friday. I thought you were supposed to be working. What's your boss going to say about that? And he says, well, let me ask him. It was his boss that took him fishing out on Friday. What a great boss. Took him fishing, and he ended up with a 65-pound sailfish, which they're going to keep. They're going to actually smoke the meat, and then I'm going to get to taste some. I haven't had smoked sailfish in a very long time.
Smoked fish is really good. That's one of my favorite things is some smoked kingfish. I'm not, like I said, I don't target sailfish. It's not one of my things, but I love some smoked fish dip.
Yeah, that's what they want to make out of it, smoked fish dip. And then I think they're going to take the shoulders and smoke the shoulders, and we're going to have some of that.
There you go.
So I'm looking forward to that. That's been a very, very long time, and he sends me a text with a picture of a fish almost as big as him, and I'm thinking he's at work. For Pete's sake, what a great boss. I mean, there's not very many bosses. How many bosses you know of who are not in the fishing industry, mind you? His job is the construction industry. And how many bosses that you know of would say, hey, listen, I got something I need you to do. I need you to get in your truck and give you a list of stuff that you need. I need you to get in your truck, and here's a list. Go buy this stuff, and meet me at my house. And the list was food, drinks, water, bait, and the next thing he knew, he was on the boat with him, and they were out offshore fishing. So that's just really it's a wonderful, inspiring thing that there are people out there that are willing to do that.
That's a pretty awesome boss. If they're not in the fishing industry.
Yeah. So anyway, one of the high spots of this coming weekend, this last weekend, was him sending me that picture. I wish I could show it to you guys. This fish is as big as it's as big as he is, and it was a heck of a surprise too.
Absolutely.
So let's see. We got
a great list of people calling in this morning.
Yeah, we've got a whole bunch of people that are going to be calling in shortly. And we're going to be talking about a lot of different things today. Okay. So we want you to stay tuned. We've got a lot to cover, and I have some new people coming on, and with some very interesting things. This one was suggested to me by Victoria. Her name is Pam Worth. Now I have only spoken with her very briefly, but she is a kayak angler. Now I have seen some of the videos, that are available on YouTube, some of these kayak anglers. It is amazing what they can do with a kayak. It really is.
Let me tell you, Rascala, with these kayaks they have out there, they're almost like mini boats, but powered by you.
Mm-hmm.
The stability, the amount of gear you can carry, they have fish finders on them. They carry their own little battery to power.
Really? They got fish finders on them?
Yeah.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
Kayaks have fish finders on them, absolutely.
Wow. It's amazing what you can put on those things. This one video I watched of a man, by a bridge somewhere. I want to say it was North Florida, the western side of North Florida, but I'm not positive. And he had hooked into a Goliath grouper. And I am not kidding you. I have no idea how this thing didn't flip over. That rod that he had a heavy duty boat rod, and that rod was bent. And how that kayak, I mean, what is it, 4 or 5 feet wide? 4 feet wide?
Some of them could be 4 or 5 feet wide. That video you saw was Ben Chansey. He's really, he's really got that down to science.
He pulled that thing up, and I was, oh my God, how in the world was he able to do that without flipping that kayak over? Now, does he keep the fish, or is he releasing?
No, they're all released. And there's a couple videos out there that he has flipped the kayak before, and it's a scary thing when you flip that kayak.
There's not much room. There's not much room on there, so we'll have her coming on. Who else have we got? I hope to hear from Todd this morning. Todd is going to tell us about unique watercraft that he has, roundabout watercrafts. We're going to hear from, let's see who else we're going to hear from the Rod Steward, a product that helps you keep your rods in order and without beating each other up when you're moving around. We're going to hear from Maria Diaz with Nautical Jewelry. We have Valentine's Day coming up, you guys. Valentine's Day. If you don't want to end up in the Bow Wow house, you want to get your special someone a unique gift, you might want to talk to Maria about that, because she's got a lot of cool stuff.
She does. Valentine's Day. It's just
Valentine's Day coming up.
Fake news for Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day coming up, and chocolates. Remember, the chocolates get eaten, and they're pretty much gone pretty quickly. But if you give them something that will last, and every time that they look at it, oh yes, I remember I got that for Valentine's Day 2018. So that might be something that you could consider. I have, I don't know which one of them, but they're brothers, Andy or Kyle. They are out there in the Keys, and they have dockside service. They bring fuel to you. They'll be calling in this morning with a fishing report and telling us a little bit about what's going on down in the Keys. And then, of course, the one and only Frank Danish, which I mistakenly said Danish many times, and I apologize for that. Frank Danish is with Adopt a Cop. He's going to be coming on and telling us a little bit about his program. We have Joe Porsche. Joe Porsche is with Maltus Products, a very unique product, almost like a portable handle you can take with you almost anywhere and use for a wide variety of, whether it's hunting, whether it's fishing, whether it's just general carpentry. A really unique product. And then I have a new guest coming on, Mike Lindell. Mike Lindell is with the KOTG, that's King of the Glades tournament. He puts on a tournament out there in Central Florida, and we're going to hear some more about that as well. And then finally, we will have Jeff Goldberg. Jeff is with Fish307.com. I asked Jeff to come on this morning and give us a little bit of an update regarding hardware, because we don't talk much about it. We do occasionally, but we don't really get into the hardware. What kind of hook should I use? What kind of line should I use? What kind of rod should I use? What kind of reel should I use? All of that, Jeff is going to tell us a little bit about all of that, help us make decisions if those questions are there. And we're going to find out a whole lot this morning.
All right, let's bring on our first guest, Scott.
All right, we have Robert. Robert is on the phone with us. Robert is with the Florida Fisherman Magazine, and it's always a pleasure to have Robert on because he has such an abundant amount of information to tell us regarding the fishing industry. Good morning, Robert. Thank you so much for calling in.
Well, good morning. How's everybody doing out there?
Good. How's the weather up there in Central Florida?
Great today. I mean, we got past the big cold fronts, but the cold fronts did do some damage on our snook population, so we're hoping that everybody will remember that when the seasons open up. If you don't absolutely need these fish to eat, you might want to practice a little more catch and release next year. We've lost thousands of snook due to these cold fronts, so something for everybody to think about when they're fishing.
It was mainly on the West Coast, but the kill number was up to, I believe it was 30,000, if I wasn't mistaken.
What?
Yeah, that's somewhere in that vicinity. Yeah, mostly of it in the Tampa and in that area on the western side of the state. But still, something to consider. If you don't need them to eat them, let them go. So.
Yeah. Well, we can always go back and get them later.
But there's a lot of stuff going on out there. I don't know if anybody follows the magazine. We're getting ready to add a section. I heard you just talking about kayaking. We're adding a section called Your Outdoors to the magazine, which will cover just that: kayaking, camping, hiking, biking, hunting, There's a travel section in there. And like I said, our main purpose has always just been to get more people outdoors. So we're going to be working on that. And the sailfish bite has gone crazy in southeast Florida. If anybody needs to catch a sailfish and scratch it off your bucket list, this is the time. These cold fronts have pushed so many sails down in. Patrick Price from Daymaker Charters reported day before yesterday 21 releases. It is just for anywhere from about Stewart on south into the Keys. If you're looking to take one off your bucket list and a sailfish was on there, this is your time. Get out there and get one. So,
well, before you called in, I was telling the listeners that this last Friday, my son sent me a text, which is unusual for him. He typically doesn't text me. And I went, oh, my gosh, something must be happening. I open up the text, and there's a picture of him with a 65-pound sailfish. His boss had decided that he was going to take him fishing on Friday. And they weren't very far off. I think they were just a couple of miles, several miles offshore here in West Palm Beach. And that's where they located him, I think about 180 feet of water.
Yep, exactly. Right around 160, 180 feet is where they've been running. So.
Yeah, you don't have to go far off our coast here. You can still see the land down by us here, at least. I know up in the Stewart area and the northern Florida area, you have to go a little further out. But our shelf drops out very fast down here.
Yeah, well, you're a lot closer to the Gulf Stream down there. But, anywhere 160 to 180 feet seems to be where they've been riding. And they're out there, boy. They're just a huge number. And this is going to be great in the spring because anything that pushes this many fish south this time of year is going to be great in the spring when they start headed back, too. So, there's some big dolphin out there being caught right now, too. There's a lot of those coming in. There's some nice tuna catches coming in. So the fishing's been good. The cold fronts are hopefully gone, and that'll loosen things back up for the redfish and some of the other fish that have been a little hard to find due to the weather. So.
Hey, Robert, anything about freshwater? You got any info on freshwater? What's happening there?
I do not. We just hired a freshwater editor. I ran a poll the other day just to find out of our readers how many did freshwater and how many did saltwater. And it's only about 20% freshwater, but we're going to add somebody just to cover that. Mm-hmm. Most of our readers, I guess, are saltwater fishermen, but we are going to add somebody for freshwater. He's out of Lake Okeechobee, and he'll be giving us a report once a month. So I'll have more of that information for you in the future. But you can catch us at flfishmag.com, and we will have the information by next month on freshwater.
Absolutely. So that's one thing, Rob, I noticed is that the dolphin bite, it really never went away this year. We had, as soon as the season picked up in April of last year, all through up till December, I was still seeing dolphin caught even into January. They weren't as plentiful as normal, but they were still dolphin caught being almost year round, and it was better than a lot of the other years.
Yeah, and this one will be a great year because of these cold fronts. We haven't had these type of cold fronts in a couple of years. This has pushed a lot of fish south. They're going to come back north in the spring. So no, it's going to be almost continuous mahi fishing for the year, which is nice. I mean, we sort of missed out last April here because we had a cold front come through. We actually had a tournament planned for last April, and because of the cold front, it pushed all the fish south out of this area before the tournament, so we had to cancel the tournament. The captains actually canceled the tournament, but yeah, this spring should be phenomenal. So
yeah, I really think last year was how you say the perfect storm. It was a combination of with the cold fronts. We had a couple good ones last year. Into this year, we had the hurricanes that stirred up the water and pushed some fish in. It just set it up to make it the next couple of years some really good fishing.
Yeah, and anybody that knows who the Coral Restoration Foundation is, if you need to lend someone a hand or you need some volunteer time, if you're a high school student or whatever, or if you can volunteer some time or money or whatever, these people need your help because the reef down in the Keys was torn up during that hurricane. There's actually parts of the reef that just disappeared. Right. So they need some help down there. So.
Wow. And what is that organization again, Robert? What's the name of it?
It's the Coral Restoration Foundation. They're out of Key Largo, and they actually replant coral.
Coral Restoration
They grow it
Foundation.
constantly and replant it constantly.
Yeah. Do you have any information regarding any tournaments happening up in your area?
I do not as yet. The spring tournaments will be starting obviously very soon, and that's the biggest majority of the tournaments in this area are from spring through summer. The sailfish tournaments have just ended up in this area, and those are the big tournaments up here during this time of year. And those are the Stewart ones have run, and the Fort Pierce one ran last week. And we reported in on that one, I think last week actually, when Patrick Price won the light tackle tournament out of Stewart.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
But no, pretty much the tournaments are done up here till probably February or March, and wow. we will get those to you as soon as I know about them.
Well, Robert, thank you so much for taking the time to call in. I'm up against a break. I've got to take a break. I wish you a wonderful day, what's left of it, sir. Looking forward to having you back on. Don't go away, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back. It is the Fish Florida Show with Riscala and Devin.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high-quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
When selling your luxury home, you need someone who understands your expectations. Someone familiar with the industry, who can sell your home faster and get you the best price. Someone who can provide you with a full-service brokerage firm. That someone is Devin Canhigh with Exit Realty. Devin is a veteran who has grown up in South Florida and spent his life in Palm Beach County. With Devin's marketing strategy and his network of contacts, you will be pleased at how quickly, smoothly, and easily your home can be sold. Not sure what your home should sell for? With Devin on your side, you will receive a free evaluation. Call Devin today at 561-281-9138. He's ready to serve your needs and expectations. That's 561-281-9138. Devin Canhigh with Exit Realty, 561-281-9138.
Que Pasa Mexican Cantina is where friends and neighbors come to connect, share, and celebrate one another in a festive, casual atmosphere. Offering rich, robust flavors of authentic Mexican cuisine, we use only the freshest, finest ingredients. We chop and dice, season and blend, and then cook everything we serve to perfection. One thing that makes Mexican food even better is one of our delicious Best of the Bay margaritas. Our signature series of margarita flavors range from our sweet and fruity mango and strawberry to our hot and juicy jalapeno margarita. Having a busy meeting or getting together and looking for Mexican food? Try our Fast Fax form. It's an easy, fast way to order your favorite Mexican food. We have special platters and layouts for any occasion. The form is super easy to fill out, fax, email, or just call it in. Whether it's here in the restaurant, in your home or office, at Que Pasa we celebrate bringing people together. Que Pasa Mexican Cantina, 10478 Roosevelt Boulevard North Street in the Gateway Shopping Center, 727-330-3663 in St. Petersburg.
You're listening to WDBFradio.com, a tune-in station.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. Stop fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. on the WDBF Radio Network. And now, your host, Riscala Stevens.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. It is the Fish Florida Show. I am your host, Riscala, and my sidekick, Devin. And we are in South Florida, and this morning in South Florida is not one of the beautiful mornings that we usually wake up to where the sun is shining and it looks so pretty out there. This morning it kind of looks like up north, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you know, it's a good break from the hot weather. It's a good break from all the sunshine. You wake up, you go out, you're not sweating a puddle of sweat first thing when you step out the door. And you don't have to wear a jacket this morning. It's one of those, other than not having the sun, it's a perfect day.
Yeah, it's just right. It's probably up to about 65, 68 degrees outside right now. And just right. The only thing I guess is what's happening is that because of these clouds that I'm seeing out here, there must be a front beginning to come through at this point. So our next guest has a very unique product. It's called Roundabout Watercraft. You got to go look at I watched some of the videos about this watercraft. It is amazing. They take one of these things, they stick it in the back of a pickup truck. They want to see how durable it is. They stick it in the back of a pickup truck. The truck drives down the road, and they throw this thing out the back of the truck. And believe it or not, the worst that happens to it is it gets a little scratched up. No cracks, no serious damage, still watertight. Really an amazing little product. This thing is so, what am I looking for? It's durable? So durable and movable, that you can stick it in your car, take it down to the water, roll it into the water, slap a motor on it, and go fishing. It's unbelievable. So let me bring him on right now. His name is Todd. Todd, good morning. Thank you for calling in. You are on the Fish Florida Show.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Good morning, Todd.
Morning.
So tell us a little bit about your product.
Sure. The Roundabout is actually was derived from a coracle, what they call a coracle. It's a round boat that's been around since pre-Roman era, and it's still used today in the Middle East and Far East. They actually make them out of baskets, and they make them as large to carry 15 to 20 people. So upon seeing that, we took it into consideration, showing how stable it is and how much weight that you could put into it. So we went to work, and I designed the Roundabout and went to the patent attorneys, did a freedom to operate. They came back and said, you're good to go. And so now we own the design and utility patent on the Roundabout. And so we moved forward with it, and we've been in business for about 2.5 years now. And things are really starting to pick up sales-wise. We've got boats all over the world, from Australia to Latvia to Sweden, Germany, France, and then all over the United States. I think the only state that we don't have a boat in is Rhode Island.
That's awesome. So where's this best used for? Do you see a lot more the lake fishermen use it? Do you see any saltwater guys using it?
The majority of our clients are freshwater guys, but we do have quite a bit of people that do use them in saltwater. Matter of fact, we're located on a river that dumps into Tampa Bay in west central Florida, so we use them in saltwater all the time. They have stainless steel components and aluminum components, so there's no worries of rusting. The boat is actually made of a polyethylene, and it's almost 3/8 of an inch thick. I heard when you guys were talking about when we threw the boat out of the back of the truck, we did that to show people how durable this boat is compared to most plastic kayaks, plastic boats, the small little bass boats that you see out there. It's a very durable boat, so it's going to last for a long, long time.
That's awesome. So how many people does your current design sit? Is it a one-seater or two-seater?
Right now we have a combination of both. We have a one-seater, and then we also have a two-seat attachment that literally you can slide the one seat out of the 3/4 pin pedestal that's there, and then you take the two-seat bracket and slide it right into the same pedestal. So you can interchange between the one and two-seater within a second to 2 seconds. So it's a unique thing, because when we first launched this company, it was just a single-seater, but we were getting asked so many questions about, can I get another person on it? And I thought, man, I didn't look at it that way. So we went back to the drawing board, went back to the Coast Guard, and actually we were able to get it re-rated for 2 people, and our weight limit is 674 pounds. And we that's
a lot of weight, including 2 people and bait and tackle.
That's a lot of weight. Yep.
So Tell me, where can they find you?
Our warehouse and sales office is located in Ruskin, Florida, which is just about 25 minutes south of Tampa. Like I said, we're right on the Little Manatee River in Ruskin. We do have dealers all throughout the U.S. We have a dealer listing on our website, which is roundaboutwatercrafts.com. And so they can go in and see if there's a dealer near them. If there's not, we can ship directly to them. And it's free shipping all in the lower 48 states. But like I said, we've shipped all over the world, so that's not an issue either.
That is awesome. So what's the price range of these watercrafts? Where do they start?
The boat itself starts at $11.95 in free shipping, and then it goes from there depending on what kind of package. We have several different packages that they can choose from the double seater. And then our most popular package right now is the single seat with the trolling motor, and the boat is $1,500 delivered to your house. And then, like I said, we have different packages that include a hitch carrier that's specially made for the roundabout, that if somebody doesn't want to buy a trailer and if they want to be able to haul it and they don't have a truck, they can buy the hitch carrier, slide the hitch carrier into the hitch receiver, and then roll the boat right into the hitch carrier and lock it down right through the center of the boat with a long rod with threads and bolts. So that's an option. Then we have two different types of trailers. We have a galvanized trailer, which is a little on the less expensive side at $2,200 delivered, or we have a all aluminum for those guys that like saltwater, that is $2,500 delivered to the house, and that includes the single seat trolling motor and the boat.
Wow, that's a great value on the price for those. What about fishing rods? How many rod holders come on it? Is there a place to store your fish on there?
It has 4 rod holders, and we've had customers that have made adaptations to where they'll make them out of PVC and slide them into the single rod holder and have 3 different rod holders that are coming out. We've had clients that have attached rod holders to the back of the boat or to the back of the seat. And then it has 4 large cup holders that are large enough to hold like a Yeti tumbler, big Gatorade bottle, anything like that. And then it has 3 separate storage units that are the same size that hold a ton of gear. And then we have a battery storage that can hold a battery that is large, a Group 31, which is a very large deep cycle battery. So, there's a lot of storage in it. And then the deck size is 22 square feet of flat deck surface. So you have a lot of room to move around. You don't feel cramped. You feel like you're in a bigger boat. It's almost like fishing off of the deck of a bay boat or a bass boat or something like that.
That's awesome. And plenty stable if you want to stand up and fish on it, I guess, with that round design, correct?
Yes, exactly. It's 72 inches of beam, so when you think about it, it's 6 foot across. So you have that beam, but you don't have the length taken away from the beam, so it's extremely stable. We throw 10-foot cast nets from it. We've actually tried to flip it. We have videos showing us trying to get it to turn over. We have yet to do it. We have a video of a 290-pound guy jumping on the very front of the boat trying to get it to flip over, and he actually fell out of the boat because he's a personal friend, and he called me. He says, "I'm going to flip your boat today." And I said, "Send me video of it." And so he sent me the video that showed him falling out of the boat, and but which is a nice thing because you can climb right back in the boat if you were to fall out. It's not hard to get back into the roundabout.
Wow. That's awesome. So plenty stable for 2 people if you're carrying your wife or if you're taking one of your kids out there fishing with you. Plenty of room for storage, plenty of room for drinks. It sounds like a great product.
It's a very portable thing. How much does this thing weigh, Todd?
It weighs 110 pounds.
Wow.
So one person like myself, I can throw two of them in the back of a truck. I stain them on their transoms, and I just strap them right through the center of the boat because there's a hole where the seat goes, and that hole goes all the way through the center, so it allows drainage of water and anything like that. So we can strap 2 of them in the back of the boat, and I do it all the time. I just stain them on their transom, or if I'm just taking a single boat, I can just kind of pick it up and then slide it in, kind of a little cockeyed because it is 6 foot round, so it hangs over the side just a little bit, but it's very easy to slide in and out.
It to me, it was I believe in the simplest answers are the greatest answers. The keep it simple answer, is the greatest answer. And this is just a straightforward, simple watercraft that is so versatile and so durable that I was really amazed at what this thing can do. I think really what caught my eye is when they were driving in the truck and they throw this thing out the back of the truck. I went, it's totaled, forget it. I bet you the thing is all cracked up and it's not worth a spit. And then they show what the damage that was done is just scratched. The thing is just scratched. And coming from a plastics background, many, many years ago, I ran a plastics plant. Polyethylene is a very tough product. It can take all kinds of abuse, not only environmental abuse, but physical abuse as well. That's why a lot of tools and stuff that have to endure a lot of beating use polyethylene because it can take that and it can absorb it. And it doesn't break down easily in the weather. Because it is a plastic, it's subject to corrosion. And because of the makeup of the plastic being polyethylene, it's almost completely untouched by any kind of corrosion and any kind of weather. So really a very durable little boat.
Well, yes, thank you, and you're absolutely right. We leave boats out on our dock all the time in the Florida sun, so you know how the Florida sun can take its toll. But the nice thing about it is we have UV inhibitors in that polyethylene, so that polyethylene is going to last for a long, long time, and the thickness of it is what gives it its strong build. Is like I said, our boat is almost 3/8 of an inch thick all the way through the entire boat. Because we're using a cast aluminum mold, so it allows it to spread that polyethylene evenly throughout the entire mold, so it gives it a good, strong, sturdy build.
That's awesome. Well, Todd, between all the building your boats, have you got out there fishing lately? How's the fishing in Tampa area looking?
Yeah, matter of fact, we were out yesterday, and the fishing up here has been up and down because of the weather. The water temperatures right now are in the high 50s. It's the highest that we saw yesterday was 58. So, matter of fact, we sat on about 200 to 300 snook, and we could not get a single one to bite. But we did get into some redfish, some nice upper slot redfish in the 26, 27-inch range, and caught some decent trout. So there are fish to be caught. I know a lot of guys are doing a lot of sheep's head fishing right now, which is real popular. I personally, I have not mastered the sheep's head fishery, so I don't like to fish for them very much. But there are fish to be caught, and I think with this warm week coming up, I think the fish are really, really going to start to fire up.
Yeah, and for all our listeners out there, when we're talking about the difference between Gulf Coast fishing and Atlantic water fishing, we have a lot of faster moving waters over here on the Atlantics. We have the convenience of having Gulfstream right by us. Over on the Gulf side over there, it's the Gulf is a very it's a whole different animal over there. It's almost like in the Gulf of Mexico, it's like you have many oceans. The water moves all different ways, and there's a lot of different currents over there. That's why the water temperatures over there do tend to drop faster, and we do hold those warmer waters on our side. So fishing is really affected by the temperature changes, and it's affected rapidly, unlike it is over here on our side. So what else, with the fishing warming up, what comes into season over there? Because I don't get a lot of West Coast fishing in. Very rarely I get to hit over on the Tampa side. What's next up in season?
Well, snook will be next up, starting in, I think it's April, or I can't remember. I think it's April 1st is when it opens up over here. They change it so many times, it's not even funny, but, so that's not, we of course have redfish that are open right now, trout are open, but the grouper over here are closed. Most of the snapper are closed, or the red snapper's closed, but, you can still go out and get, mango snapper, and if you go offshore, I know it's been tough for our guys locally to get offshore. I know a bunch of offshore captains, and they just have not been able to get offshore because of the winds, but when they have been, the hogfish have been unbelievable. But it's a far stretch in between trips because of the weather, but yeah, I see some really good things coming up for the spring. I think we're going to have a good spring because we've actually had cold weather this year, and that affects how the algae is and all that other stuff in the Tampa Bay area. So it's a wide ranging. I found that if we do have a cold winter, we do have a much better spring when it comes to especially to the inshore fishing. It's really, really good. And like I said, with these warmer temperatures coming up, these fish are going to really go on the feed, and those are the days kind of when I miss guiding, because I knew those days were the days that you wanted to be on the water. And now running this business, it does not afford me to get out in the water when I want to get out in the water. But you know, when you get out in the water, you just take every opportunity you can to go out and just fish and enjoy being with your friends.
Well, there you have it, folks. It's Todd with Roundabout Watercrafts. Todd, before we go on our break, tell us your website and where they can find you.
Sure. The website is www.roundaboutwatercrafts.com, and you can reach us at our 800 number at 844-792-2628, or you can email us at info@roundaboutwatercrafts.com.
Awesome. Thank you for calling in, Todd. We will hope to hear from you soon and hear a little bit more about your product and maybe what's being caught over there on the West Coast.
Thank you, Todd. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend. You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with Riscala and Devin. Don't go away. We will be right back.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within. Over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event.
Promises to one's community.
Healthy people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
You've seen how recent hurricanes have devastated whole communities, flooding and destroying homes. Join Habitat for Humanity as we work with families to repair and rebuild. You can help someone desperately in need of a place to call home. We will rebuild, but only with your help. Visit Habitat.org to support Habitat's work.
Hello, I'm Hector Elizondo, and I want to talk to you about getting older. My body hurts, my joints ache, and sometimes I forget. I forget that doing all your own scenes for a movie isn't always the best decision, especially when you're galloping high speed on a horse named Archibello. So yes, my body hurts, but it's not because of my age. It's because I'm living my life.
Don't let life pass you by. Take care of your brain health. It may just help you stay on top of your game.
Oh, Archibello!
Learn more at brainhealth.gov.
Hey y'all, Cedric the Entertainer here with Niecy Nash, taking a break from shooting The Soul Man to introduce you to Patience.
Hi.
Patience is a patient at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
Families never receive a bill from St. Jude for anything because all a family should worry about is helping their child live.
St. Jude won't give up until they end childhood cancer, sickle cell, and other deadly diseases.
Because of you, there is St. Jude.
Learn more at stjude.org.
My vehicle was sent 6 feet in the air in a ball of fire. I thought I was going to die.
It ripped my arm off. It broke my right femur.
I took such a hard blow to the head that my retina was torn apart.
Say a prayer for peace. I'm Trace Adkins. I want to tell you about these true American heroes and how you can show your thanks by helping them through Wounded Warrior Project.
They've reached out to us as a family, and they never forgot about us.
The job of helping thousands of our wounded warriors rebuild their lives is massive and growing every day. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Many of these service members suffer traumatic brain injury and post-traumatic stress disorder.
They helped me basically put my life back together.
If it wasn't for Wounded Warrior Project, I would be a statistic right now. I would have been one of those soldiers who came home and committed suicide.
I'm in the fields of Vietnam, the mountains of Afghanistan, Your gift today of $19 a month can help us provide the programs and services desperately needed by our wounded service members. Call or go online with a pledge and you'll receive this Wounded Warrior Project blanket. Make that call now.
Say a prayer for peace.
You're listening to WDBFradio.com, a tune-in station.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. Stop fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. on the WDBF Radio Network. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
Okay, we are back, and thank you so much for taking the time to share with us this morning and allowing us to share with you all those little things that we come across, whether it's fishing with a boat, fishing offshore, fishing in freshwater. And we are looking forward to having some unique people on. I have someone who's going to tell us a little bit about spearfishing coming up on one of the shows here, something that we haven't discussed at all. But in the meantime, we have Reed Simmons. Reed is with a very unique product. It's called the Rod Steward, and that's with a D like dog. And this is a very cool product. I really like this thing, and I wish I had this when I had a boat. This is really cool. So let me bring him on. Reed, good morning, sir. Welcome to the Fish Florida Show with Riscala and Devin, and we do appreciate you taking the time to call in. Tell us a little bit about this Rod Steward.
Well, good morning. How's everything going down there?
We're enjoying it. It's a little bit of overcast. Not looking forward to what I'm seeing out here. It looks like we might get a little rain before it's all over.
Well, you know, we finally got some warm weather back up here in South Carolina. We just we had 5 days of cold weather, and we had a pretty significant fish kill up here. But we're glad to see the temperatures get back up into the 50s and 60s.
Well, that's not warm weather.
Not for us Floridians down here.
Yeah, how's it down there?
The weather's nice down here. It's already warmed up to about 69 degrees, almost 70 degrees. So it's it's for some Floridians it's light jacket. For me it's t-shirt and pair of jeans. Normal day in Florida.
I got you. Yeah, well, we're glad to see it warm back up. Anyway, the Rod Steward product, I don't know if many of your customers are aware of it. It's a unique little way to store your rods and reels in your garage or in your house. It's made out of a high-grade foam, and it comes in various sizes and size holes so that you can store your product. Works good on boat docks and in houses and in garages.
I'm looking at it right now. You have some really unique colors, some for the lady anglers out there with the pink and with the different sizes for the saltwater and the freshwater. It's a really unique product, and the price point is really well for the consumer.
Yeah, it works out pretty well. We've got some dealers around Florida. We're just, we're trying to expand into more of the the mom and pop places, especially in Florida. They seem to do a better job for us.
Well, especially with some of these other rod holders out there, and it's not to knock them, but some people are on a budget and they don't want to spend an arm and a leg on a rod holder, nor have their rods getting beat up in the corner against the wall. So your product, it looks like it does fit that gap very well for price point wise, and also on top of that, it's on looks wise, it's not it's not something overly bulky, nor is it something that's gonna it's an eyesore if you have that in your home.
Yeah, and the other thing is that, what, when it comes, you don't have to put it together. It's ready to go.
You know how that is, some assembly required. Yep, it looks like, and it looks very lightweight. It doesn't take too much to move. It looks like even like a little kid can move it around.
Oh yeah, this doesn't weigh anything.
Oh, yeah.
The foam that they make this out of, they make it out of, if I'm not mistaken, I think is it a polyethylene based foam?
Yes.
And so being polyethylene, again, we talked about polyethylene a short time ago and how durable it is and how strong it is. This is made out of a foam that is going to last and last and last. It's soft. It won't scratch your rods. It's not a cookie cutter kind of thing. It's not one size fits all. They make several different versions of it. So for example, if you have boat rods, they have a version for boat rods. If you have spinning rods, they have a version for spinning rods. So it's not a cookie cutter kind of thing where one size fits all. And anybody who's dealt with anything like that knows when you deal with a one size fits all, there's always something that doesn't fit quite right.
Yeah, and also we do custom. So if you have a closet, you want to do the whole closet, all you got to do is call in and we'll cut them custom for you.
So if somebody wanted one of these custom products to like say fit a closet, what price would they be looking at for that? If they wanted to fit let's say a 4 to 5 foot wide closet.
The prices vary, depending on what size rods that you're going to put in there. Depends on the thickness of the foam that we use, how high the block is.
Mm-hmm.
The basic, just the basic block, it starts off at like $39.95. I think that's like an 18 hole. So, it just varies. Some people want, some people have a deep handled rod. We use just a different size. And it depends on if they want it snug in there or if they want to be able to pull them out easy. It's just, there's a lot of different varieties of the holes that you can have. So, it just depends on the person. But we'll cut them anyway. All they got to do is measure it up and send it to us.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about the fishing up there in South Carolina. How's I know you mentioned you guys lost some fish out of your fishery up there. What species is it? Freshwater you guys lost a little more, or anything on the saltwater side?
All along the coast are spotted sea trout. We lost mostly the sea trout, but there's a few redfish and a few black drum also. They're asking for voluntarily everybody releasing what they do catch, but it's really slow. That water temperature got right around 40 degrees, and it sustained that cold for about 4 days.
Yeah,
4 to 5 days, and it was people were calling me all over the place, telling me that they're seeing fish floating. So that wasn't too good.
That's sad.
And and that's for all the local fish that don't end up migrating and make it down here to our warmer waters in South Florida. But for all our listeners out there, this does happen on time to time on occasions. But this is nature doing its cycles on the fish. It's nothing that's forced by man. But it takes us here to have conscious fishing on these and making sure we're doing our part in the conservation on them and releasing these fish and not putting too much pressure on the species that your Fish and Game and Wildlife Commission tell you that are being heavily affected by this.
Yeah, absolutely. I think North Carolina had a fish kill, and they have a all release up there, and I've heard a few places in Georgia also. So the whole this 3 states right here have had it pretty rough with this cold weather.
Yeah, and we had our fish kill down here. I think our number was close to 30,000 snook, and it was mainly on the West Coast. And 30,000 does sound like a big number, but when in the grand scheme of things down here in Florida, when they did the data on it, it really wasn't as bad as some of our other fish kills. If you take a snook season into account, and when snook season does roll around, on the first day of snook season, I think from my numbers, if I'm not mistaken, it's about half the fish on the first day of opener for us down here that are taken in that kill. So it was about 15,000 snook is about the number on opener day that people do harvest down here. So our numbers really weren't. They weren't great because, any kills like that are always going to put an effect on the population, but it wasn't as bad as it sounds.
30,000 though, just seems like a, but I guess it's all in relation to the population too, right?
Absolutely.
Wow. That is amazing.
Yep.
It's amazing how the weather can have such a devastating effect on our environment as well as other living beings that are around us. That's kind of shocking to me. I never really thought about the numbers, and when you said 30,000 earlier in the show, I went, hey, that can't be. He must have mistakenly said that. But then you say it again and I'm going, oh my goodness. 30,000 is a lot, but then I guess in relation to the number of the population, 30,000 may just be literally a drop in a bucket.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather catch 30,000 fish on the end of my hook, though. I hate to see those fish killed.
So, what else is going on in the waters up there? What's coming into season? Do you guys have any tournaments lined up in the South Carolina area up there? When is
usually the first tournaments that come around are like the redfish tournaments, but usually don't start till about March. So
gotcha.
We're just kind of hunkering down, hoping we don't get any more cold weather. We don't need any more. We don't need any more fish kills. So that's just basic. There's we got the Bassmasters coming around in March too, in the upper part of the state, but. As far as the saltwater fishing goes, we're kind of waiting.
Well, that's going to be one interesting to see, that Bassmasters, especially with this these unseasonably cold weather we've been having. Well, extremely cold weather we've been having. How those when that tournament rolls around, how those bass are going to be affected by that when it does warm up a little bit. If any of those species were affected and we did lose any bass also.
Yeah, usually those largemouth bass are pretty. That cold weather really doesn't bother them. They had the Bassmasters was here. It was 2 years ago, and it was really cold. They had to delay the launch and everything because the ramps were all frozen over. But they seemed to do pretty well. It was both days were pretty cold. I think the temperatures were in the. I think they were just stayed around in the 40s. But it turned out pretty well.
I was up in Virginia last year, and I did do some bass fishing, and we were in the low 40s when we did bass fish, and the bite was really good. Those fish actually, the strike on those bass in those colder waters when I fished was, it was like incredible. Those fish hit so hard, it was unbelievable. So what I'm trying to say is, it may even make the fishing with those bass, if not. It's going to be I feel like it's going to be either tough fishing, but when they do get on those fish are going to be the bigger fish, and they're going to, they're going to take them for a whirl with that. Those fish are going to hit nice and hard.
Oh yeah, those pros, they know how to find those fish to bite. So that's a good thing about those largemouth bass.
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a novice when it comes to the freshwater fishing. Put me in saltwater and I'll be okay down here, because that's my style of fishing. But it's going to be interesting nonetheless.
Oh yeah, I'm mostly in the saltwater, but I love going to do a little bit of freshwater every once in a while.
Absolutely. So, what about tuna? Do you guys see tuna up there in the summertime?
Yeah. Yeah, we get all the migrating species. We get yellowfin, blackfin. Not as many yellowfin anymore come up this way, but we get dolphin, tarpon. A lot of wahoo.
That's my favorite fish. Is the wahoo.
Weather permitting, we get out there. So.
Oh yeah, it's a strike none like any other.
Oh yeah.
And if anybody hasn't seen how those wahoo do strike, you can get right there on the good old internet. You can Google wahoo hitting on the dredge cam, and you'll be able to see these fish, how they react and how they go after the lures. Because like I said, it's like, I talk about it all the time, but the wahoo, if you haven't seen it, if you haven't experienced it in your life, it's something else.
Oh yeah. We have to, we got to run a good ways out from here. But anyways, most of the time it's worth the trip. So, it's a good 8, we got to go a good, it's a good 60 miles out.
And not to rub it in for wahoo fishing down here, max you really have to go is about a mile to 2 miles out.
Wow.
By the time you clear the inlet, you're already in wahoo territory down here.
Jeez, 60 miles, you're already on the Mexican border, for Pete's sake. Gee, many. Well, Reed, thank you so much for taking the time to call in. I sincerely appreciate it. That's Reed with the Rod Stewart. You can find them online. And I'll be looking forward to having you back on soon again, my friend. Again, thank you for taking the time to call in. You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with Riscala and Devin. We will be right back. We're up against a break. Please don't go away.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
Hi folks, I'm Roger from Rogers Gotcha Motoring. If you need a local auto repair shop, Rogers Gotcha Motoring will take care of all of your automotive repair needs. If you need something as simple as an oil change or as complex as an engine overhaul, I have the latest in technology and the knowledge to get the job done right. We've been servicing Pinellas County since 1994 and are conveniently located at 3700 5th Avenue North in St. Petersburg, Florida. If you need service, call now at 727-327-1830 or visit my website at www.rogersgotchamotoring.com or like my Facebook page at Rogers Gotcha Motoring for a complete list of all of our services. So come on over to Rogers, that's me, and get your car service today. And don't forget to shop and support local business. Call now to book your appointment at 727-327-1830. That's 727-327-1830, or swing on by.
Que Pasa Mexican Cantina is where friends and neighbors come to connect, share, and celebrate one another in a festive, casual atmosphere. Offering rich, robust flavors of authentic Mexican cuisine, we use only the freshest, finest ingredients. We chop and dice, season and blend, and then cook everything we serve to perfection. One thing that makes Mexican food even better is one of our delicious Best of the Bay margaritas. Our signature series of margarita flavors range from our sweet and fruity mango and strawberry to our hot and juicy jalapeno margarita. Having a busy meeting or getting together and looking for Mexican food? Try our Fast Fax form. It's an easy, fast way to order your favorite Mexican food. We have special platters and layouts for any occasion. The form is super easy to fill out, fax, email, or just call it in. Whether it's here in the restaurant, in your home or office, at Que Pasa we celebrate bringing people together. Que Pasa Mexican Cantina, 10478 Roosevelt Boulevard North Street in the Gateway Shopping Center, 727-330-3663 in St. Petersburg.
Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Hey, this is Captain Hook for Statewide Pest Control Services. They've been serving the west coast of Florida since 1987. Statewide does it all. Pest control, termites, lawns, mosquitoes, tent fumigations, etc. This announcement is from their mold division. Since Hurricane Charlie in 2004, all their personnel are certified in mold and moisture control. Their two-step services are guaranteed to get you back in your home quicker and in most cases paid by your insurance company. Give them a call at 877-488-7378. That's Statewide Pest Control Services for all your pest and mold control needs, serving Florida from Pasco to Lee counties. Statewide Pest Control Services. 877-488-7378. 877-488-7378. That's 877-488-7378. You're listening to WDBFradio.com, a tune-in station.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. Stop fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. on the WDBF Radio Network. And now your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and it is an honor and a privilege to be with you this morning, and we do thank you for taking the time to listen in and allowing us to share with you all of the information that we come across. We have a wide variety of people that come on the show in an effort to bring you information. Like Devin says, and I so much enjoy, bringing the outdoors to you, giving you information that you can use so that when you do go out there, we hope that you can take the information and make it more enjoyable than it already is. We are very family-centered, very family-oriented. I believe that fishing is one of the ways you can keep your family together. Growing up, my dad used to take us fishing at least 2 times a month, sometimes 3 times a month, and to a wide variety of places. I grew up in the Miami area. He would take us down to the Keys, fishing off bridges, fishing offshore. He would take us over to the other side of the state, Naples, which has a beautiful pier over there, Tampa, in the Tampa area, up and down the East Coast. It was always a way for the entire family to go out and enjoy some kind of an outdoor excursion together, sharing that experience and increasing the bond of the family. I truly believe that if we want to make this country great again, we have to work on the families. It's the families and the small businesses of which and that have made this country what it is. And once again, we are this is something that is a heartstring of mine. So our next guest, I don't know if I have Andy or Kyle. We have I'm going to say the Sikora, one of the Sikora brothers on the line with us. And again, an opportunity for you to hear a very unique service. I really wasn't aware there was anybody doing this until I met these people. So I don't know which one of you I've got, but good morning and welcome to the Fish Florida Show.
Thanks for having me on again. This is Kyle.
Hey, Kyle. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. We're actually a father-son duo. We're actually not brothers.
Oh, you know what? I saw the pictures. You look like brothers, for Pete's sake.
That's a good sign, I guess. The old man's going to be happy about that.
Give your dad a compliment
Hey,
there.
yeah, I love family-owned businesses. I'll tell you what, I'm a family-oriented guy, and when we have a family-oriented business, that's the way to go, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the way it goes, and we have a blast doing it.
Hey, so tell me, are you guys seeing this front push through down there in the Keys? Because we're seeing what appears to be either the beginning of it or the end of it. I can't tell, but we're seeing overcast and the typical overcast clouds that come through as the front comes through. Are you seeing that down there?
Yeah, it's been overcast these past couple of days. Honestly, we've had incredible winds down there for probably 2 weeks. You know, it's blowing 20 knots, and nobody wants to go out in any kind of weather like that.
Yeah, that doesn't make it very comfortable out in the ocean.
I mean, only the crazy,
you guys have had similar weather
only
up
the
there,
crazy
assuming?
guys.
Hey, Kyle.
Yeah, you there?
Yeah.
You guys have had similar weather up there?
The weather's been spotty. Today we are overcast here, and we've had some really good days where it's been pretty flat. The boats have been able to get out, and then we get our normal winter weather where it's snotty, and the only people you see out there is the people that need to make money. You see your commercial guys out there, the crazy guys getting out there fishing, and we've had our days too that not even the commercial guys could get out.
Wow.
You got to give those guys credit. They get out there in the worst conditions, no matter what.
Yeah, but you know what? To me, I enjoy fishing. And if you're going out there and you're fighting 4 and 6 foot swells, and you're fighting just to stand up, you haven't even hooked into anything yet.
Riscala, 4 to 6 foot swells during our season. I am out there fishing on those.
No way.
Yes, 4 to 6 foot swells.
Goodness.
I have no problem going out there fishing 4 to 6 foot swells.
Oh my gosh.
I've fished in 6 to 8 foot swells before, and being on the right boat out there is
I guess that
critical.
Yeah, that would make all the difference in the world. I'm thinking 4 to 6 foot swells when I was in my little 24-footer out there in the Keys, and I'll tell you, it was so rough that it's just no fun because you're fighting to stand up. The boat's rocking this way, and then it's rocking that way, and you're trying to get a line out. I guess you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It depends on the vessel that you're on, and for me, 4 to 6 foot in the particular one that I was in was just kind of beating me up. So hey, while I'm thinking about it. Kyle, tell me a little bit about what you do, and just in case anybody who's listening hasn't heard about what you do.
So we provide fuel to anybody, any boats in the Keys from Key Largo to Key West, and we deliver fuel whether they need Rec 90 or diesel. And we're pretty easy to work with. We only have a 50-gallon minimum. A lot of people have larger minimums. And we just require 24 hours notice, and we're usually able to deliver fuel wherever you are and send our trucks to take care of you and get you guys out on the water.
That's awesome. And you guys just got done with the Meat Mayhem down there in Key West. It was the big Kingfish tournament, the start of our SKA season down there. Some nice big fish were caught. Did you guys get any traction from that? Any call-ins from that to get some of these fast boats fueled up?
We did a couple boats down there. We're not down in Key West every single day because it's pretty far. We're down there maybe once a week. A bunch of boats whenever we do go down there. It's really key for us just getting the more notice we can in the lower Keys at least. We're pretty regular in the middle and upper Keys. We're pretty easy to get to.
Yeah, just once you get that good notoriety down there and people know that you guys are on time delivering a great product. How about fishing wise down there in between all deliveries and work? How's the fishing been? Have you been able to get out there?
I haven't been out recently, but we get, the cool thing is we get fishing reports, almost on a daily basis. So we kind of know, what's biting and where it is. So you don't have to waste your time. Recently we've been hearing a lot of people are catching snapper in close, mostly just because, off the reef, it's exactly what you're talking about, 6 to 8 foot seas. Okay. Nobody really kind of wants to go out unless they have to, unless those 50-foot charter boats are going out there.
Yeah, those 50-foot charter boats are built for those.
Update for you guys. The Wahoo have been running still. They've been running for about a month. People are catching pretty big Wahoo right off the reef line.
Absolutely. So what about, if somebody's pulling their boat down to the Keys and need to get fueled up, tell us where they can find you. Is there a number where they can reach you?
Yep, you can give us a call or you can text us. Our name of our company is Dockside Fuel. The phone number is 305-923-6509. And all we ask is you give us 24 hours notice. A lot of times we can pick people in the same day. You just gotta keep us in the loop here. And we cannot deliver to marinas unless you get it approved by some sort of dockmaster. People call all the time asking for us to deliver to marinas. And they usually want to sell their own gas instead of having somebody else come in there.
Yeah, absolutely. But in the Keys, there's a lot of places where they can pull their boat around and meet you and get fueled up, other than just
without a doubt.
A set marina.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's the beauty about the Keys.
All right, Kyle. Well, I want to thank you for calling in. That's and look forward to having you back on. I appreciate you taking the time. I've got to move on to our next guest who's coming on. Wish you a wonderful day, what's left of it here. And we'll be talking to you soon, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right, folks, that's Kyle Sikora with Dockside Services. And if you need fuel for your boat, 50-gallon minimum, you'll find that they are competitively priced. In many cases, they're less than the marinas.
Yep.
And they'll bring it right to you.
And like we're bringing the outdoors to you, Kyle's bringing the fuel to you.
I like that. Yeah, bringing the fuel to you, hot dog. All right, my next guest is Frank Danish, and Frank is with Adopt a Cop. This is something that I am very passionate about, building the relationships between the law enforcement and the civilians and the populace, because we have been stretched to the greatest stretch that you can imagine, if you will, with relationships between law enforcement and the citizenry. And it's people like Frank that come in and help build that bridge and show people that it's worth doing. There's hope there. And most importantly, works with the younger generation so that as they're growing up, they have a better understanding of what's going on. So good morning, Frank, and welcome to the Fish Florida Show. I appreciate you calling in, my friend.
Good morning, Riscala. Good morning, Devin.
Good morning, Frank.
Well,
Where are you at
guys,
this week?
I'm just leaving Orlando. I'm on my way to Sebring, Florida, and then from there going back to Jacksonville. And was a very emotional day yesterday. You know, I think I talked last week about our new Chief Brody show where the kids are mentoring the kids. And yesterday I attended an event with Team South Florida out of Coral Springs, ran by Rich Best. And we went up and we met with two wives of two fallen officers. And one was Amber Williams, who lost her husband in Polk County. And that was really very emotional. Got to meet her daughter, and she's actually going to be on our Chief Brody show, and she wants to go fishing as well. She's very excited about getting on the water with us and going fishing. And then Teresa Kondek, she lost her husband in 2014 in Tarpon Springs. And the agency of Tarpon Springs was just absolutely amazing. You should see what they've done for this fallen officer and the family. They don't let them out of their sight. They keep them nice and close. They do whatever they can to help the family.
Wow.
But it was quite a different story for Amber Williams of Polk County. After that event, you know, they do everything and they're very supportive. But then since then, the support has kind of fallen off. And, you know, that's a big problem that I see in our country. We forget and we get moving forward with our other things, but we have to remember that the sacrifices that these ladies have made, you know, losing their husbands and dads. I mean, Amber has 5 kids. I mean,
wow.
Somebody has to step up there and help this family and get their kids back on the water, out into the woods, out camping. And part of our initiative for Adopt-A-Cop this year is to really, you know, not just adopt the kids in our community with those police officers and those children, but to reach out to survivor families and help teams like Team South Florida, because they do a bicycle ride to help the fallen officers' families, and they've been able to provide laptop computers and anything those family needs. They get the word out to them, and these guys make it happen.
Who is that, Frank? Say that again. What organization?
It's called Team South Florida, and they're on Facebook, and it's a nonprofit charity. And it's ran by an officer named Rich Best. And he's invited us to help his program, you know, get the word out and raise money for them. And I've contributed several times to him and his program, because what they do is bridge that gap between the fallen officers' families and back to the community again where they need to be, you know, where they belong. And it was just really amazing to see this. And Tarpon Springs Police Department in Florida is absolutely amazing. I mean, that's what our agencies used to be like. I mean, Devin, you're in the military, you understand the camaraderie. And back when I became a police officer, it was a very, very tight group. And a lot of it has to do with the hours, you know, shift work. The new shifts that these officers work, they don't see each other like they used to. And it's really destroyed the camaraderie of our officers, our brotherhood, our sisterhood. And, you know, when these city managers are looking at budgets and what makes most sense for the dollar, they forget the human side of it, and that's a big problem.
Wow. Well, let me tell you, Frank, this is why I love you so much, because you work with children. You work with building that bridge that is so very important, and the relationships that are so very important between children, between citizenry and law enforcement. There has been a tremendous amount of stress put on the relationship between us, and it continues to this day, where we have a few bad apples that go out there and do something bad. And just like when there's a mass shooting, the first thing that happens is they want to take the guns away from everybody. They want to say everybody is the same as this one person. That's not true. And it's not true in law enforcement. You have people in any industry that don't abide by the rules. That's just nature of the game, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean that every one of them is bad. That doesn't mean that they're out there to harm you. I have personal friends who are police officers. They would give you the shirt off their back. They would openly tell you, I refuse to give this man a ticket for something so silly, but I will write him up as a warning. So there are many of them out there. Sergeant Frank is one of them. Sergeant Frank is one of them that can help you understand how important it is that this relationship between citizenry and law enforcement is, because this is our last line of defense, ladies and gentlemen. This is the last line to go down. If this line goes down, if the division continues, if the stress continues, and we can't have good relationships with law enforcement, what kind of society are we going to end up with? This is a gentleman that takes his time to work with other people to help better their lives. Thank you, Frank. I really do appreciate what you do.
So Frank, if anybody wants to check out what you do and all the wonderful stuff you guys are doing for the community, tell us where they can find you. Give us the website where they can locate you and get a little bit more information and go more in depth about your story and what you do.
All right. You can come to our adoptacopusa.org site, or they can actually come to our AAC USA, to shorten it up, .store. So it's Alpha Alpha Charlie Uniform Sierra Alpha .store, and that's another place that you can find us and check us out on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, and it's Adopt a Cop USA. There is another Adopt a Cop program out there for a prayer group, and God knows we need the prayers, but our program is Adopt a Cop USA, and God bless America, and God bless radio shows like this, because if it wasn't for you, Scala, and you, Devin, getting the word out about patriotism and our country and our small businesses, we wouldn't have a chance. And you're 100% right when you say we're the last line of defense. Our firefighters, our military, they're on the front lines on that wall protecting us every night. We can't forget that. So please help us help those. And one last request, I'm looking for a rod manufacturer. This little girl wants a fishing pole really bad, and I'm trying to find a company that can step up and do the right thing and manufacture some rods for Adopt a Cop USA, so we can get these kids, these little girls out there fishing this year and change their lives and make a big difference in America.
Well, thank you, Sergeant Frank. I really appreciate that. And thank you for your time. Thank you for your service, sir. And thank you for calling in. We've got a hard break we've got to take. Ladies and gentlemen, please don't go away. We will be right back. It is the Fish Florida Show with Riscal and Devin.
Thank you, guys.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Oh, really?
Do you own a laser printer, copier, or a fax? Well then, listen close to this announcement. Laser Technologies has been providing high-quality, frustration-free toner cartridges that are guaranteed not to harm your equipment for over 20 years. Laser Technologies will save you on your supplies with high quality and fast delivery. Savings up to 50%. Laser Technologies supplies toner, imaging drums, developer and cartridges for most of the major brands. For a price quote, send an email to service@laser-technologies.com. Include your printer make and model for your part number. Call us at 561-792-9600. That's 561-792-9600. Laser Technologies, providing 100% of the quality at a fraction of the price. 561-792-9600.
When selling your luxury home, you need someone who understands your expectations. Someone familiar with the industry, who can sell your home faster and get you the best price. Someone who can provide you with a full-service brokerage firm. That someone is Devin Canhigh with Exit Realty. Devin is a veteran who has grown up in South Florida and spent his life in Palm Beach County. With Devin's marketing strategy and his network of contacts, you will be pleased at how quickly, smoothly, and easily your home can be sold. Not sure what your home should sell for? With Devin on your side, you will receive a free evaluation. Call Devin today at 561-281-9138. He's ready to serve your needs and expectations. That's 561-281-9138. Devin Canhigh with Exit Realty. 561-281-9138.
K-Possum Mexican Cantina is where friends and neighbors come to connect, share, and celebrate one another in a festive, casual atmosphere. Offering rich, robust flavors of authentic Mexican cuisine, we use only the freshest, finest ingredients. We chop and dice, season and blend, and then cook everything we serve to perfection. One thing that makes Mexican food even better is one of our delicious Best of the Bay margaritas. Our signature series of margarita flavors range from our sweet and fruity mango and strawberry to our hot and juicy jalapeno margarita. Having a busy meeting or getting together and looking for Mexican food? Try our Fast Facts form. It's an easy, fast way to order your favorite Mexican food. We have special platters and layouts for any occasion. The form is super easy to fill out, fax, email, or just call it in. Whether it's here in the restaurant, in your home or office, at K-Possum we celebrate bringing people together. K-Possum Mexican Cantina, 10478 Roosevelt Boulevard North Street in the Gateway Shopping Center, 727-330-3663 in St. Petersburg.
You're listening to WDBFradio.com, a tune-in station.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. They call me a grouper. So I'm fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. on the WDBF Radio Network. And now, your host, Riscala Stevens.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. It is the Fish Florida Show with Riscala and Devin, and if you have been listening, you have heard a wide variety of information coming across this morning, and hopefully you'll be able to use some of that and your outdoor excursion, and in doing it, it'll make it a little more pleasurable for you than it normally would be. A lot of people calling in and giving their experiences and sharing with us what is going on in their neck of the woods. If you have a product that you would like highlighted on our show, please send me an email. You can send an email to me, M-E, at Riscala Stevens, RISCALLA, STEVENS.com, me at RiscalaStevens.com, and I'll be happy to give you whatever information that I have regarding that and some of the availabilities that we have, some of the slots that we have available for us. We also have an app that works directly with the show, the Fish Florida app. It is a free download. You can find it on just about any of the stores. With the app, you can listen to the show live. That's just a very, very, very tip of the iceberg. With the app, you can find Devin, what can they find in the app?
You can find anything hunting, fishing related. You can find there's shopping on the app if you want to buy any of the products you've heard about on there. It's your one-stop shop for all that. You also get your tides, your water temperatures on there. If you're making your trip down here to South Florida, even if you live here in South Florida, it links you right to the FWC site, so you can check your fishing regulations and you can get your fishing license right there. It's a very utilitarian app for the outdoorsman.
I'm trying to figure out how to word it. I think it would be hard to argue that this is not a vital part of somebody's tools that they could have in their hand when they're out enjoying the outdoors. With all the information that's out there, whether you're going to be camping, fishing, whatever that might be, hunting, you're going to be outdoors. This is something that is free, absolutely free, that you can download, put on your smartphone, and have a tool in front of you that can give you a wide variety of information. I think for what we're offering, I would have a difficult time understanding why anyone who is enjoying the outdoors, which most of us do, that's why we live here in South Florida, would not want to have this application on their phone. Again, it is the Fish Florida app. It is a free download, and you can find it on any of the stores.
You can find it on your Apple. You can find it on your Google Play Store. Like I said, it's a great tool, and every once in a while you'll get a notification of what's going on in the fishing world, whether it be a tournament going on, whether it be a special going on, but it doesn't bombard you like some of these other apps do.
Yeah. It's got really, if you haven't seen the Fish Florida app, look, here's the worst that can happen. You download the app, and for whatever reason, and honestly, everybody that I have talked to that have downloaded the app wants to keep it. But here it is. Even if you download the app and you don't like it, you can just take it back off your phone. I can tell you that I have spoken to at least a dozen people. Every one of them still has the app on the phone. Every one of them still feels the same as I feel. It is a vital part of enjoying the outdoors. It is a tool that you can use, readily available in the palm of your hand, can tell you so many different things and help you. And the best part, it's free.
Absolutely. That's the key word. It's free. And like Riscala said, it's got vital information on the app. It's got great resources on the app. And like I said, if you missed any of the products we talk about, or if you missed something on the show, just go ahead and download the app and scroll through it, check it out, and you'll be able to find it. And what's the worst, like Riscala said, you can do? You can delete the app. I still have it on my phone. So it's one of the permanent fixtures on there. And every once in a while I will use it to refer to something that I do need.
It is, I'm telling you, with everybody that I have spoken to, and it's been at least a dozen people that I have asked, in all honesty, every one of them still has the app on their phone. There's no reason to remove the app. If you're going to be doing something outdoors, whether it's kayaking, fishing, boating, snorkeling, something outdoors, hunting, bow hunting, spearfish, whatever that might be, this is something that really is a vital tool. It's almost like being a carpenter and saying, I don't need a hammer. Come on, guys. If you're a carpenter, you need a hammer. You need to be able to pound that nail, right? If you are an angler, if you are somebody who's spending some time outdoors, whether it's camping, whatever that might be, this is a tool that you really do need. This is a tool that can fit in the palm of your hand and give you a world, literally a world full of information.
I mean, it's almost past a tool. It's almost like the whole tool belt because it holds so much information.
That's a good analogy. That's right. It is like almost the whole tool belt. That's right.
So, great. We have got some great guests lined up for you coming up in the show this morning. If you have any questions that you'd like answered on the show, anything fishing related, you can always email Riscala and one of us here, or even myself, or any of our guests on. And sometimes we do get captains. We'll be more than happy to answer them for you. Riscala, tell them where they can email.
That is me, M-E, at RiscalaStevens.com. And while we're on the subject, we are working on having a chat room on the website. The website is fishfloridashow.com. We're working on having a chat room there so we can interact with you. While we are live on the air, you can go into the chat room. If you have questions or comments, you can put them into the chat room and we'll be able to read them live on the air for you. So that will be one of the next things that we're doing. We're also expanding. We're on a couple of other different networks now, and so we're getting more and more people listening to the show. And again, if you have something that you want highlighted on the show, we'd be more than happy to do that for you. Just send me an email.
Absolutely. And while the listeners are on in the morning, this is a live show, so we do have the ability to answer questions also. So if you want to email Riscala while the show is going on, we'll be checking. I'll check the email. We'll be checking email, and go ahead and try to stump us. Try to ask any questions you need. No question is a dumb question when it comes to fishing. A little bit more education your way, and any help I can provide is very much. The questions are very welcomed.
So we'll have a new game. Stump Devin. It's the Stump Devin Show.
Stump me. If I have to answer a freshwater question, I'll work my way through it. But saltwater, please feel free to bring him in.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, my next guest is Mike Lindell. And I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I haven't had an opportunity to ask him how he pronounces his last name, but I believe it's Lindell. And he's with KOTG. That's King of the Glades. He puts on a fishing tournament out there in, I believe it's Lake Okeechobee. He'll correct me here in a minute when I bring him on. But a unique individual with a unique story to share with everybody. Good morning, Mike, and thank you so much for calling in.
Good morning, Riscala. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, we appreciate it, sir. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
I'm the tournament director of the largest bass series based out of the Florida Everglades, and today we have one of our qualifying rounds up here at Okeechobee. We got 86 boats with 174 total fishermen out there on Okeechobee right now trying to win some prizes and money.
Wow. So how is it going on Lake Okeechobee?
Lake Okeechobee's been a little bit rough because of the water temperature. It's at about 59 degrees, actually colder than that. So we're hovering right around 54, and it needs to get up to 65 to trigger the spawn. So fishing's been tough up here. A lot of guys pitching stick worms and stuff in the grass, swimming big easies, and some bruiser bait mackerels and stuff, just trying to flip up that big one to get in their small bags. Yesterday there was a tournament here with 65 boats, and 17 pounds won, which for this time of the year is extremely low.
Wow.
So with those slower, with the colder water, and I know Lake Okeechobee, it's its own beast out there when you're out there fishing because it's such a big area to cover. And I know a lot of these Okeechobee fishermen, they have it pretty dialed in. So for it to be tough for them, it's going to be tough for any angler to go out there and try to fish for bass there. But what I'm getting at with with the colder water, those fish do tend to bed, and they lay down on there. So when you're talking about pitching those stick worms and you're working the bottom and trying to get that bait right in front of their face, so they do eat. Am I correct?
Yes, no, you are correct. They like to bed in the hard bottom areas and in the needle grass fields in the holes. And, somebody's going to get lucky today, and I project it'll probably take around, because there's a lot more what I call, big sticks on the water today. It's probably going to take around 24 pounds to win would be my best guess. Normally this time of the year, the Everglades, besides being back in the marsh access areas, back in the flats and covering water back there, covering the spawn, and the canals are real slow because of water levels. Right now, the Everglades are on fire. I mean, anybody can go out to Holiday Park or mile marker 41 on the alley and catch 100 fish and probably catch up to a 25-pound bag in the canals. I mean, there's some bigger fish in the flat spawning, but when they dropped the water from the hurricane, they dropped it down lower than normal for this time of the year. So actually, right now, the Everglades is fishing stronger for Okeechobee, and in running tournaments for 25 years, I don't think in January I could ever say the Everglades was outperforming Okeechobee until now.
Wow. So for our listeners that have not, experienced a bass tournament, when they talk bag, we're talking aggregate. That means multiple fish. How many fish are in a typical bag to weigh to get to that weight limit?
Typically, it's a 5-fish limit. They variance in size. As far as like today, we're going with a 12-inch minimum because it's so tough out there. So we're going with your 5 biggest fish, and the minimum length has to be 12 inches. Normally, this time of year in Okeechobee, we go with a 14-inch minimum. But like I said, because it's been so tough, we dropped it to 12.
The tournaments that you put on,
weigh in your 5 biggest fish, and then we pay an award for the biggest fish of the tournament.
Yeah, he beat me to it because I was going to ask what was the prize? Is the prize cash, or is the prize some kind of a product or some sort?
Today, for example, in the King Series on an $80 entry, first place is going to roughly walk out with, I'd say, about $1,600, maybe $1,700. Then if you get big fish, that's another, $800. And then we got the owner of Bruiser Baits and Bass Addiction Gear, Steve Dial, coming down with the, his boat, which we're going to use as the hot seat, meaning we're going to weigh in everybody's fish, and whoever's leading gets to sit in the boat. And when it's over, they're going to win a mega. The top 3 finishers are going to win a huge tackle prizes with Bruiser Baits and Bass Addiction Gear. And then I also got huge raffle items from like Fitzgerald rods and stuff. So the winners are going to be extremely happy today. They'll probably, total prize and cash packages probably close around $2,800 off $80.
Wow.
Yeah, no, like we said before, Lake Okeechobee is a beast of its own. These guys are really working their butts off out there to get these 5 fish and get their bag with the, to get those bigger number of fish. If anybody's ever seen, you can see how big Lake Okeechobee is on the satellite view or a map view. It covers a vast span.
It's a miniature ocean.
Yeah,
it's our own little miniature freshwater ocean.
60 miles.
Absolutely, and 60 miles. I mean, that's a lot of water to cover, and it's not like for our average fisherman or average person who doesn't know, it's not like we're fishing any kind of deep water. You're fishing the banks, you're fishing the grasses, you're fishing along that shoreline. But again, it's a lot of docks, a lot of space to cover, A lot of space to run. That's why these guys have those little faster boats out there.
Yeah, and just for the guys who don't fish tournaments, just looking to fun fish and stuff, I mean, right now Okeechobee's tough, but like I said, you could go out in the Everglades and throw Senkos or Gambler, Big Easies or Horny Toads, or pitch a bruiser bait, mackerel or something, or a big nasty worm, because they like big worms in the Everglades, and Bruiser Baits just came out with a 14.5-inch worm that catches giant fish down in the glades. I just fished the BFL up at Toho. I didn't do well in the tournament because a cold front pushed through and shut my bike down, but pre-fishing I caught a 9-pounder and a bunch of big ones over by Browns Point up at Lake Toho, just throwing a topwater bait in the airboat trails on the backside of Browns Point. So I mean, there's fish to be had, for people that don't fish tournaments. So, down in Miami, the peacock bass. I mean, the cold weather's killed a few, but they're still catching plenty of peacock bass on the Lake Ida chain and down south in Miami.
Wow! And
for fun fishing, or if you're going out on a freshwater charter, those peacock bass are a blast to catch. Yes, they fight very aggressively. I don't think there's, even a largemouth bass don't fight as aggressively as a peacock. The only thing I could think of that comes close, believe it or not, is a mudfish, or if you go up north, a smallmouth bass.
So, Mike, I'm up against the break and I've got to go, but before I do, I want to make sure that I'm giving out the right information. Is it called King of the Glades Tournament? Is that what it's called?
Yes, it's called King of the Glades Open Team Bass Series. The website's kotgseries.com. We have another event because there was an accident on the lake earlier this year with a fatality, unfortunately. We pushed our date out, so the next round is February 4th, which will be at Everglades Holiday Park, and the bite's really good down there, and, everybody will have a good time down there.
Well, Mike, thank you for taking the time to call in, and we hope to have you back on again. You have certainly given us a world of information with regard to what's going up in Lake Okeechobee. Greatly appreciated, sir. Wish you a wonderful day, what's left of it. Hey, the sun just popped out. And we will be talking to you again soon. I would love to have you back on sometime in the future. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it, sir.
It'd be a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. There he goes, ladies and gentlemen. That is Mike Lindell with KOTG, King of the Glades Tournaments. And we will be right back. We are up against a break. Please don't go away.
You're listening to the Fish Florida Show with your host, Briskella. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event.
Promises to one's community.
Healthy people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
You've seen how recent hurricanes have devastated whole communities, flooding and destroying homes. Join Habitat for Humanity as we work with families to repair and rebuild. You can help someone desperately in need of a place to call home. We will rebuild, but only with your help. Visit Habitat.org to support Habitat's work.
Hello, I'm Hector Elizondo, and I want to talk to you about getting older. My body hurts, my joints ache, and sometimes I forget. I forget that doing all your own scenes for a movie isn't always the best decision, especially when you're galloping high speed on a horse named Archibello. So yes, my body hurts, but it's not because of my age. It's because I'm living my life.
Don't let life pass you by. Take care of your brain health. It may just help you stay on top of your game.
Oh, Archibello!
Learn more at brainhealth.gov.
Hey y'all, Cedric the Entertainer here with Niecy Nash, taking a break from shooting The Soul Man to introduce you to Patience.
Hi.
Patience is a patient at St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
Families never receive a bill from St. Jude for anything because all a family should worry about is helping their child live.
St. Jude won't give up until they end childhood cancer, sickle cell, and other deadly diseases.
Because of you, there is St. Jude.
Learn more at stjude.org.
My vehicle was sent 6 feet in the air in a ball of fire. I thought I was going to die.
It ripped my arm off. It broke my right femur.
I took such a hard blow to the head that my retina was torn apart.
Say a prayer for peace. I'm Trace Adkins. I want to tell you about these true American heroes and how you can show your thanks by helping them through Wounded Warrior Project.
They've reached out to us as a family, and they never forgot about us.
The job of helping thousands of our wounded warriors rebuild their lives is massive and growing every day. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Many of these service members suffer traumatic brain injury and post-traumatic stress disorder.
They helped me basically put my life back together.
If it wasn't for Wounded Warrior Project, I would be a statistic right now. I would have been one of those soldiers who came home and committed suicide.
I'm in the fields of Vietnam, the mountains of Afghanistan.
Your gift today of $19 a month can help us provide the programs and services desperately needed by our wounded service members. Call or go online with a pledge and you'll receive this Wounded Warrior Project blanket. Make that call now.
Say a prayer for peace.
You're listening to WDBFradio.com, a tune-in station.
I grab my fishing pole and cast it in the water. I fish until dawn. Oh my, I caught a shark. I'm fishing and blowing on when the sun shines all day. It calls me a grouper. Stop fishing and blowing on. Oh yeah.
It's the Fish Florida Show with your host, Riscala Stevens, bringing the outdoors to you every Sunday morning, 8 to 10 a.m. on the WDBF Radio Network. And now, your host, Riscala Stevens.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what a beautiful day it's turning out to be. The sun has come out. Some of those dark clouds have left us. I know that this front is still moving through the area. It is warming up, probably close to 70 degrees outside now here in South Florida. Those of you who are listening up north, you have my condolences. But it is turning out to be a very, very beautiful day here in South Florida. My next guest is Jeff Goldberg, and I asked Jeff to come on because Jeff has a great deal of knowledge regarding hardware. And I know that some people have questions regarding hardware. What kind of hardware should I use? What kind of sinker should I use? What kind of hook? Why would I want to use monofilament line versus braided line? Those kind of things. And I hope that Jeff can kind of shed some light on that for us this morning. He does have a wide variety of hardware available, so this would be the man to speak to if you have questions regarding that. Jeff, good morning. Thank you for calling in, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for having me this morning.
Now you have,
you asked me, yeah, go ahead.
Is it fish307.com? Is that the name of the site?
Yeah, fish307.com, right. We're actually based out of northern New York State, but we supply tackle to people all around the world, including Florida, which is a very, very large market. And we have a small repair center in Jacksonville. We fix trolling motors and downriggers there. So we have some knowledge here on a general thing about picking the hardware, rods and reels and line that you may need. For me, I mean, I do more inshore and freshwater fishing, but all of the same things apply to offshore. So the first thing you need to know is what are you going to target? If you know what kind of fish you're going to target, that'll put you in at least in the right direction as to what you're going to want. And then you have to excuse me. Wow. Anyway, it's very common to pick equipment that's either on the heavy side or too heavy for the targeted species. People tend to have initial feeling that if I'm going to go fish for, say, a tarpon, and it's going to be 30 to 50 pound fish, I got to have this massive, heavy equipment. When I fish for tarpon, I usually fish with a spinning rod and 17-pound test, because you don't need to have a very heavy line to catch a very heavy fish, because that's the break strength in the line. So if you pick the line up or try and pick the fish up out of the water with that line, you'll break it. But if you're going to use a net, or in the case of a tarpon, oftentimes you just bring it, unhook it, let it go. You don't need that real heavy line. And if you look at IGFA records, there's always a record of line weight versus the fish. So there's been, 150, 200 pound fish caught on 4-pound test line. So most people initially go for line weights and rods that are too heavy for the species that they're targeting. And I, for one, have more fun fishing with lighter line. You get a better fight and you get to feel the fish. And so you just remember, just don't pick the fish up. If you're jetty fishing or fishing off a bridge, that's something different. You'll need a little bit heavy line. But if you're in a boat or someplace where you can, on the shore, where you can pull the fish in toward the shore or a net, and obviously you use the lightest stuff, or I like to use the lightest stuff I can, just because it's more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're fishing out there, Jeff, especially from the boat, or if you're fishing from the shoreline, that lighter tackle also gives you the advantage. You get a further cast with it also. And when people don't understand is when you're fishing with, say, 15-pound line, especially with all these super lines coming out like the braids and whatnot, the break strength, it's rated for 15 pounds, but the break strength is sometimes even higher than that. Like you get up to, where they break is closer to the 20-pound mark.
Well, yeah, that's true. So I mentioned IGFA earlier, and for IGFA records, that they actually have to have a break strength that is equal to what they're rated. But if it's not IGFA rated line, most of the time the break strength, like you said, is higher than what they say. So, for instance, a 20-pound braid is usually closer to 30-pound break strength, unless it's frayed. And that you always have to make sure that you run your fingers down toward the end of where your hook is for the first few feet and check for frays after you catch fish. If there's a fray, you need to cut off and retie, otherwise you will have a break, because the break strength is gone if there's a fray or a nick in the line. So that's a real important thing to remember.
That, and most of the time when we're saltwater fishing, you do have either a fluorocarbon or a monofilament leader on there, because on top of that, the monofilament does have stretch to it also. So that's one of the advantages about fishing mono. And when you're fishing these fish, people don't understand that 17 pounds of pressure, even 15 pounds of pressure on a fish is a lot of pressure. That will double a rod over.
Wow.
Oh, absolutely. I have in my shop in Lake George, New York, I actually have a pressure meter. So I have a 9-foot rod we have hooked to it, and we have 2-pound test line on there, and a 2-pound test line will pull that over, and you're pulling what feels like a ton, but you're only pulling 2 or 3 pounds, and it's enough to pull up there. We'll pull 18-pound lake trout up with that. It's incredible. So the amount of strength is a lot more, like you said, than what you would think. It's not. It doesn't add up in your mind, but it adds up. The science says it works.
Yeah, even down here when we're offshore and we're king fishing, and we're getting, and to give you a comparison, we use a 30-pound line when we're king fishing offshore here, but you're talking a 30-pound line fighting these fish. You get fish in the upwards anywhere from 40 to 65-pound fish you can catch on 30-pound line, because we're bringing it right to the boat. Plus, we're not putting that much pressure on the fish. You're putting about maybe, and this is, maybe 12 to 15 pounds of pressure on that fish at the most.
Wow.
Yeah.
And even offshore when we're sword fishing at nighttime, well, max pressure we're putting on a swordfish is maybe 15 to 20 pounds of pressure on that fish. They do have soft mouths, so you don't want to pull hooks. And that's one of the things you don't want to do when people don't realize how much actual pressure they're putting on a fish when that rod does double over, when that fish runs, how much drag actually comes off the reel.
Right, which is why light line or lighter tackle or lightest tackle you can use is actually more effective most times. Which is
Jeff,
kind of an
when
interesting
we're
thing.
fishing, like, let's, for example, say we're fishing off the shore, off the bank, how does somebody decide what size hook should I use? What kind of line should I use? What size rod should I be using? What kind of a reel should I have? Is there a generality for people who, let's say, are going to fish off of a bank, saltwater fishing? What would you suggest for them?
Well, if they're fishing off a bank and they want to cast, they generally want to try and use a longer rod. So, something 7 to 9 feet, that they would. And I personally like spinning tackle for that because it's simple and it's easy and you get less backlashes and what have you. So you can cast out a heavier lure a good distance to get offshore. Then the other thing is you need to take, into consideration what the terrain is. Are you fishing over oyster beds, or is the jetty got really a lot of sharp rocks, or you can work on the sand, and that'll help determine the size of the line and if you want to use braid or not. When I'm jetty fishing, I'd prefer to use braid because it's more abrasion resistant and you're going to get less break-offs. And it also has a thinner profile, so you can cast it further, and it just works a little bit better. But it doesn't have a lot of stretch in it, so that's why you need a longer rod that's going to bend over for you.
How do you know what size hook to use?
Line. Well, that depends upon the species and what bait you're using. All right, so different baits will help determine the size of the hook. And I wouldn't want to give a generality. What I would do in that case, being if I was unfamiliar with the terrain, is I would go to a local tackle shop because they're going to have the best information as to what's biting and what they're biting on and what size hook and how to rig it and all of that. And best thing to do is, go to your Fish Florida mobile app, and there'll be a list of all the different shops available. And I always recommend going to a local shop. Now, I own a few shops, and when I go someplace new, I always go to a local shop and I ask that information because that's where you're going to get the information you need as to hook size, bait, what's running, where to go for it. And if you're nice to the guys, they'll actually give you the good information, not the stuff that the scuttlebutt you hear out in the road. So,
Jeff,
local shop
Jeff,
is the best place.
Jeff, you hit it right on the nail there. You could go to, your bigger department stores and get your hooks and get your products and maybe save $2. Or you go to a local store.
Yeah.
Spend the extra $2, support a local business.
Yes.
And the local businesses, and the smaller tackle shop, even like ours down here, you have knowledgeable people in there that'll sit and talk to you like a human being and tell you, and give you little reports on what's biting, what's out there. You be nice to them, talk to them like they're a human being, just like you are. And, they'll recommend the right hook size. And most of the time you'll have a way more pleasurable experiences when you get out there on the water, going to a local tackle shop vice going to that big department store.
Well, and beyond that, oftentimes you don't actually even spend an extra $2. Today, most shops, they're very competitive with the big stores as well. So you get the benefit of a good quality product from good quality people with good quality information. It's a win-win for everybody.
That's what I like. When everybody wins, that's what I like.
Everybody wins. I tell you what, I'm in the business down here also with the fishing, and I still can't walk out of a local tackle shop if it's not my own in the current area without, spending money and helping out a local business. Cause, some of those local businesses too, they will have unique stuff to the area that works, that they know works, that is going to work, and that you just can't find in those bigger stores because those bigger stores do have those mass-produced products. So you will find those people that are wrapping the local jigs that do work a lot better for the area. That's one of the other great advantages about going to your local shop.
Right. So I guess the advice is when you're trying to determine hook size and baits and things like that, go to a local shop, talk to the local people, and you'll get the information that you need. And you'll be more successful, which will turn into a better day.
All right, guys, that's Jeff with Fish 307. That's FISH. The number's 307.com. check him out. Thanks for joining us on the show, Jeff. We really appreciate all the advice out to our listeners, different from me just talking your ear off. And we will hope to hear from you soon.
I appreciate it, and it was 4 degrees this morning in Lake George, New York. So
Goodness gracious, wow. Well, Jeff, thank you so much. We do appreciate it. We're up against the end of the show now, and we do thank you for your time. And I'm looking forward to having you back on. You always have some great information for the listeners. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Fish Florida Show. We are at the end of the show. We hope that you will join us again next weekend. Please find us on the web, fishfloridashow.com. You can find us on Facebook. Please give us a like, make us relevant. It is Riscala and Devin saying so long.
Support your local tax.